There you are now. Well, anyway, another incident in my life was when I got a bicycle. And I saved up, and I forget whether it was 5 shillings or maybe 10 shillings, but Johnny O'Neill, God rest him, Johnny bought me the bicycle in Gorchin, second hand, lovely bicycle. And Bridie had a bicycle, and that opened up. We went out cycling every Wednesday. Bridie worked as a bookkeeper, a typist really, in an insurance office. And at this stage I was at the Tech, studying. Had been in at the convent school, and when I was 16 then I went to the technical, and for bookkeeping and shorthand typing. Now my sister Margaret, Maggie as we called her, she was a great scholar. She won the King's Scholarship when she was 18, but she wasn't able to. She didn't pass the medical because she had an accident as a child, and she lost the sight of one of her eyes. And in those days, unless you had the full sight and the full health, you didn't get accepted as a trainee teacher. So she did commerce instead, and of course she introduced me to the commerce too, to the bookkeeping and typewriting and shorthand. And she got a job. She worked in Harvey McGrath's main bookkeeper. There was a big grocer's shop, and she was a great one for tuition and teaching, and reading stories and introducing us to different stories and classics. She was a wonderful mentor, Maggie, and a great influence on the younger members of the family. So anyway, I went to the Tech and did bookkeeping, shorthand and typing, and that was that. I was always a great reader. I loved reading, and we went to the pictures then. My mother was a great fan of the pictures. She got out 2 nights a week, and her recreation was the pictures on a Monday night and a Thursday night, and wild horses wouldn't have kept her back from the pictures. And my father never was in a picture house, I don't think, in his life. He liked music. But that was her outlet. And she used to talk about the different stories that she'd seen in the pictures. Now, there was pictures in those days were very respectable. There was no badness or no bare women or anything in them. Anyway, I went to Tech and then went to work. Lizzie Kilpatrick had a newsagent shop in Omagh, and Mary Maguire, a wee friend of mine, was working in it part-time, and she was leaving, and I said to her, could you get me this job at part-time? So I got the job as a part-time, but my father wouldn't allow me to work in it. So I had to keep plodding on, and then I got into work in Harvey McGrath's. And I went in to help Maggie on a Saturday at lunchtime and tea time, because the shops in those days didn't close till 11 o'clock on a Saturday night. Yeah. So on a Saturday I would be working at lunch hour, and I would do the tea hour. And that was how I was introduced to the office, clerical work. And I've always prided myself on being a good writer. And my father was a beautiful handwriter, and Maggie was a lovely writer, so was Bridie. We all had this great flair for writing. Anyway, I worked in Harvey McGrath's, and there was a feis. Kelly was on this particular evening, and Bridie and I was at it with lots of our friends. And the feis was a big day in Omagh in those days. It was relatively new, really. And Kelly that night in the showgrounds, pavilion, and of course this young man got up to speak, and we were all huddled around, sitting around the floor, and he was from Belfast, and he was wearing kilts. He had been up dancing earlier on in the night, but he got up to give a lecture on Irish music and Irish culture, and we were very impressed, and I thought he had a beautiful speaking voice. And I thought he was lovely looking. We were laughing and admiring him and all the rest of it. Little did he know the criticism that was going on. But anyway, about 6 weeks later I was running down. Sometimes the banks would be closed, you'd run out of change. We went to Anderson's and with different shops that we would have exchanged change. I would go down to Anderson's and I looked in Taylor's window and here this young man was dressed in the window. I thought to myself, God, he couldn't be a Catholic. Like in Taylor's wouldn't employ a Catholic. But it was a nice looking fella anyway, but the next time I was going for change, I didn't go to Anderson's, but I went into Taylor's to see if they had any large silver, which I got, and got more than a bargain for it, I think. But anyway, that's how I met Jerry.
Right.
And of course then we got great, the bicycles come out, we were cycling about, and I think the first evening, one of the first evenings I was out with him, we were walking along down the Derry Road, and who did I run into? Only my father. He knew absolutely nothing about this new friend that I had met, and he wasn't long putting me through my drill when I come home to see who he was, and I wasn't too impressed now. He thought that he didn't know, he had never met him, but he didn't think, he thought that I would need to be more selective and careful, the usual parental advice. But anyway, they become very good friends, he and Jerry, and that was the start of my life. That's all as far.
Right.
That's
Good.
that, you'll have to wait for the next episode.